Hello and welcome to day 4 of Holy Week. It is Silent Wednesday. Basically, Jesus' ministry is ramping up, right? We've had celebrations, we've had threats, we've had him performing miracles, and we've had him preaching sermons, and then nothing. I mean, the Gospels tell us of things that happened 2 days before Passover. And then the next thing you know, they're telling us about what happens at Passover. And it's like Wednesday, this day in between, is completely skipped over. And we're not really sure why. Like the disciples just don't talk about what happens on Wednesday. And it's kind of random. And that's why we call it Silent Wednesday, because people are silent about what happened on Wednesday. And the Bible doesn't explicitly tell us why this is. And so we kind of have to make our own inferences. And so while I don't know for sure, what I do know is that silence is both deeply valuable in our lives and yet consistently ignored, right? I mean, we have really noisy, busy schedules and we're always running from one thing to the next. And I think sometimes we're not very good at having moments of quiet in our lives, moments where we stop and we pause and we actually try to listen to what God is saying to us. I think a lot of times we struggle to hear God's voice and how do I discern my voice from God's voice? And yet I also don't know that we actually really ever try that hard to listen. I think we act like prayer is us leaving God a voicemail. We just tell him our requests and hope that eventually he'll, give us a call and speak in this big, bold way that cuts through our lives. And I just think that's not usually how God speaks to us. I think he speaks to us in the moments of quiet and silence when we're paying attention. And I think that's why Silent Wednesday is placed there. I think it's almost this way of God saying, hey, hold on. I want you to pause. I want you to stop. All this craziness that's going on, I want you to stop. I want you to be silent. And I want you to prepare yourself to listen to what I'm about to say. Because to be honest, what Jesus says in the next few days of Holy Week is potentially the most important thing you will ever hear in your life. And so I think it's a way of God saying, I want you to pause and actually be ready to lock in and not miss the details of what I'm trying to do and what I'm about to do. And so maybe God's doing that for you this year. Maybe you're so used to the Easter story that you don't think he's trying to speak something new to you. But maybe if you stopped and in a moment of silence, you would actually hear something from him that maybe you weren't expecting. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to try and find a place in your home that's semi-free from distractions. I'm sitting on my porch. I love being outside. It's a little bit distracting sometimes, but generally okay. And find a spot, and I want you to set a timer for 10 minutes. And what I want you to do is open up your hands as a posture of receiving and pray this really simple phrase. Holy Spirit, I pray that you would open my eyes to see, my ears to hear, and my heart to receive whatever it is you're trying to say to me. And then wait for 10 minutes, which might be difficult, but just try your best to pause and be silent and sit in God's presence and be able to hear maybe what he's trying to say. And maybe you'll hear an audible voice. Maybe it'll be a feeling, an emotion, a word, a phrase that's repeating in your head. Maybe it's a picture that comes to mind or a memory, some kind of visual. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just a moment of silence where you get to sit in God's presence and just be with him for 10 minutes. Maybe it's a time where this silence actually prepares you not for what he's going to say in that moment, but maybe what he's going to say in the future. So I hope you take some time to be silent on Silent Wednesday, and maybe you'll be surprised by what you actually hear.